Namaste. Namaste, my friends. Think of the mind as a highway which has three lanes. Lane number one, uninvited, unwelcome thoughts are coming. You wake up in the morning, one day you had a good thought, so called, and the other day you had so called the negative thought. The third day you have a pressure on your head. Fourth day you are full of pleasure with reference to any event or a situation in the world outside. That is what is happening in the lane number one. Lane number two is the lane of intellect, of knowledge. We receive the knowledge, we retain the knowledge, and if we realize the knowledge, we jump into the lane number three. And what about the mind? As long as we claim we are the mind, how do we claim that we are the mind? We pick up any thought from the mind and, oh, I am in stress. Mind says there is a heaviness, and then the mind thinks that I'm in stress. Are Baba, mind is in stress. You are not in stress. We identify, we get attached, we have an emotional bondage. And if that continues to happen, that causes a lot of problems. So once we recognize it, we are aware, we are not attached, we can easily jump into peace and happiness that are located within us. Let us see. It's a knowledge plus practice. Let us see how we can enter into that state easily. Close your eyes. And find out the most comfortable position of your body. We are applying the knowledge, means we are fully aware. So, eyes are gently closed. Position of the body is comfortable. Means what? You are not practicing the comfort. You are aware. You experience. You have adjusted and aligned the body. I told you the meditation, the simple the practice, higher it is. Simple the practice, the higher it is. So in the stage one, we are going in a very simple way. You are aware, position of the body, eyes are gently closed. And now being comfortable. I said being comfortable. We recognize the comfort within us. We do not force the mind or the body to be comfortable. That is why I said be comfortable, not become comfortable. So your mind should not be agitated or reacting or forced. Just you are listening to me, and listening to me means Lane number 2, receive the knowledge, retain the knowledge. So in the lane number 1, you have unwanted, unwelcome thoughts. They are continuing. Let it continue. So where is your mind in the lane number 2? What you are doing, you are listening to me. What you are listening to, recognize the comfort within you. So how we go about it? You look at, mentally, you look at the neck joint. Looking means awareness. Awareness gives you an experience. What is that experience? Sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Check again. Comfort, you recognize. Sensation, you recognize. Why you recognize this sensation? Because the mind is looking at the neck joint. And there is a sense of steadiness. Move deeper, so-called move beyond the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. You are aware of the space. Now, for the time being, that space is awareness, and awareness is the space. So you find mind seems to be empty. Why? The space is awareness, awareness is space. So that we experience in the lane number 3. So just be aware. Lane number 1, still have unwanted, unwelcome thoughts. You have already left it. Why? You are listening to me. What you are listening, the knowledge part. So the intellect is working. And then what happens? You reach to sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Space is awareness, and awareness is space. And you are living in it. So from the lane number 3, you are aware of the lane number 1, what it is doing. You have unwanted, unwelcome thoughts. You let it come, let it go, let it stay. You don't worry about it. Let us see, can we move the same way? Look at the shoulder joints. Mentally, looking means you are aware of the shoulder joints. Where is your experience, sensation, comfort, and steadiness? After that, the mind seems to go within. It becomes aware of emptiness, darkness, or the space, whatever you want to say, or your mind accepts. All are okay. So that space is awareness, and awareness is the space. I just use this metaphor of lane 1, 2, and the 3 to awaken your mind to the discernment. What is discernment? You separate what is going on in your mind in lane number 2. I repeat it again, unwanted, unwelcome thoughts. That is why metaphor I use, lane number 1 is separate from the lane number 2 is separate from the lane number 3, and all are happening on the mental highway. Highway is 1. The moment you separate, what is this separation? Whatever the mind says to you, you are none of them. The mind says, I am in stress, but mind is in stress, you are not. And the moment you have a discernment, You already have a dispassion. Let the mind do whatever it wants to do, but you are separated yourself. You are discerning. Again, see, is it possible? Look at the hip joint, be there. Feel the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Experience is there? Yes. Then space is there? Yes. Space is awareness, and awareness is space. I'm not talking of the rocket science. I'm just talking self-awareness program. That is what the meditation is. Emotional freedom program. That is what the meditation is. To discover how to work on the mind in the state of passivity, that is the meditation. So, with the knowledge, with that awareness, we are working on the mind through the discernment and dispassion. In a way, we are doing a practice, but in the stage one, it is just a non practice. So, the hip joint awareness, sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Space is awareness, and awareness is the space. You are already in the lane number 3. Knowledge is there in the lane number 2, and the lane number 1 still may have couple of thoughts, unwanted and unwelcome thoughts. You are just looking at them. You are an observer. You are not attached to it. You are not getting carried away by it. The entire body, from the top of the head to the toes, from the top of the head to the toes. Awareness, sensation, comfort, and steadiness. You don't create any sensation. So if the mind is excited or agitated or pushing itself to be comfortable, that is lane number 1. You did not receive the knowledge rightly. Why? Because of the impurity of the mind. That we will talk later. So sensation, comfort, and steadiness, my friend. And the space is awareness, and awareness is the space. From the lane number 2, we analyze what exactly means you are looking at the entire body. Do you experience the body? Yes, no doubt. Do you experience the sensation, comfort, and steadiness? Yes. Can we go deeper? Yes, let us go deeper. The mind recognizes the body as made up of different parts. You cannot point where the body is. If you point on the forehead, for example, that is forehead, that is not the body. You may point out at the nose, that is not the body. You may point out shoulder. So body is the name given to the collection of different parts of the body. As such, body is not there. That is what Eastern wisdom says. It is false in the wrong notion. It is like, where is the wave? All wave is water. Mirage water appears true in the presence of the sand and the sunlight. We see the mirage water, we experience the mirage water. It appears true, but it is not the same way. The body appears true, but all experiences. So I experience the mirage water, but that is not true. I experience the blueness of the sky, not true. I experience the wave, all wave is water. So we are something else than the body. That is the exploration. And when we explore, we find out permanent peace and happiness. Through your intellect, through your awareness, the moment you recognize during the journey anything that is changing is not you. Anything that that depends on something else is not you. Is body independent? No, the body depends on the carbohydrate, protein, breath, etc., etc. When you reflect on what is this body, you find body is not there. Let us move little deeper. Do nothing. At present, you are doing nothing. You are already in the state of discernment. Lane number one, thoughts are coming and going, and you are watching good thought, bad thought, high thought, low thought. No, you are not at all concerned. Whatever the thoughts are entering, you are already in lane number two. Because you are already comfortable, you are experiencing the state of comfort. Now, that again brings us to the so-called second step. In non-practice, or so-called in this practice in the first stage, as such there is no practice, you're just aware. Be carefree is also a non-practice. You experience the sensation, comfort, and steadiness in the body, so-called, yes. The thoughts are coming and going in the lane number one. You know, you observe, you are not running after those thoughts. Whether these thoughts say you are in stress or you recall any past event, you are just observing, you are watching. You are a witness, awareness. That is why I say Eastern wisdom, or it is a self-awareness program. It is an emotional freedom program. It is working on the mind program. Carefree means free from the cares of the mind. How the mind cares? Mind cares impulsively, instinctively, based on the past impression it has. So where those past impression enters in the lane number one, you are not the mind. So if you are not the mind, you are none of these thoughts that enters into your mind, unwelcome, unwanted. So you experience not only a sense of freedom from the thoughts that are running in your mind, why lay number two has a right knowledge. So we will continue to analyze. Lane number one says the world outside is happiness, love, and wisdom. But our master says the world is the cause of suffering because of emotional bondage, attachment, likes, and dislikes. So, lane number two has to contemplate and reflect. That is what we are doing. Simple the practice, higher it is. So, lane number one, cares, that is the mind, cares us impulsively, habitually, by repeating the same thoughts again and again. Oh, he abused me, insulted me, he or she. Oh, come on, mind. We are watching, we are analyzing, we are observing, we are reflecting. Lane number one. So, principle, simple principle. The world outside is not the cause of happiness, but it is always the cause of the suffering. As long as the mind does not realize the world outside of people, of places, of events, condition, thoughts is the cause of the suffering, this mind will continue to attract the thoughts and feeling and situations from the world and declare, I am suffering. Why I am suffering? Because I realize, I experience the world is the source of happiness, but it is offering me suffering. And the moment you realize any thought pertaining to the world, maybe I like it or dislike it, will cause suffering in the end. What the master says, the world is suffering. So what should I do? I should not destroy the world. I should feel a separation. That is what the discernment is. That is what the awareness is, my dear friend. Why it is not happening? Lack of awareness. That is why our master says, Asato ma sat gamaya. What he says? Internally, from the lane number two, that is the intellect. Intellect is nothing but the knowledge. Move from the false to the truth. What is false? Unwanted, unwelcome thought enters into the mind. You recognize, so you are in the lane number two, you separate. So what happens? That is the process. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, moving from ignorance to wisdom. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. It can only happen through the knowledge and understanding. Discernment and dispassion is there now. So I would say that is what the understand also in a little deeper way. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. So if I translate literally, it means moving from the darkness to the light. Just understand, I'm giving you a lesson in the darkness. Neither I see you nor you see me. So that presence of darkness is ignorance. And the presence of light, nothing happens to the light. When the light is simply present, I see you, you see me. I hear you, you hear me. Whose presence I can see you? You can see me in the presence of the light. Whose presence I cannot see you? It is the darkness. So that is why our masters says that darkness is ignorance, wrong notion, false. So what is that presence of light? It is awareness. That is why it is self-awareness program. That is why the moment you see these thoughts moving into the lane one is neither you nor yours. So you separate in the head, in awareness, what happens? Calmness, peace. So don't forget, Buddha says, Master says, samsara is suffering. As long as the mind says samsara is the source of peace and happiness, nothing is going to happen. That is known as the impurity of the mind. Why it is not happening? Because of the impurity of the mind. So when the mind has such a deep impression that the word is the source of the happiness, we will continue to invite unwelcome, uninvited stranger thoughts in our mind. It is not happening on its own. It is happening due to the darkness, and that darkness is ignorance or darkness. So, this journey can happen to those who are the highest level of a seeker, where you don't need to make any effort in the meditation. We will continue our journey, but my friend, my dear friend, when that highest level of a seeker means that higher means the mind is 100% pure. It follows the knowledge. But if we are, it does not mean that we cannot continue the journey. It does not mean that we cannot continue the journey. So what should we do? So we find we replace another practice that is also in between, not making too much of effort, and we continue with a sense of non-practice. That is why the meditation is known as a non-practice, an effortless and natural. So we will move between the two. So you are in a state of sensation, comfort, and steadiness. You are aware of the space within your forehead. That too is good. And in that state, you are looking inside the forehead in the space. In that space, you add a thought. Thought is in the form of a mantra. In the form of a mantra. So very good. So what is that mantra? Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. One more time, you're saying in your mind. Even if it looks foreign to you, just say in your mind. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. Again, understand. Lane number one, still unwanted, unwelcome thoughts are there. If it is not there, you're lucky. So we are using the mantra in the lane number two. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. So a lot of people make a mistake that they say that if I chant the mantra habitually, impulsively, it will help me. It helps during the practice of meditation because your mind focuses on these words and phrases. But the moment we return from the meditation, the mind returns to the same old thoughts. So then what should we do? We should reflect. We should analyze. We should find out the meaning. Why meaning? Knowledge. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. Let everyone be happy. That is the meaning. So if everyone should be happy, means happiness is present in all the living species? Yes, we are analyzing. So if it is present in the all the living species, including the humans, it means happiness is our essential nature. Say yes or no mentally. Yes. And if happiness is our essential nature, essentials means it cannot be undone. No, I did not understand. You cannot remove the sweetness from the sugar cubes. Sweetness is an essential nature of a sugar. We all are so sweet. Happiness is our essential nature. No, but it doesn't happen because Buddha says world is suffering. My mind says world is the source of happiness. Oh, so the mind calms down by understanding, by the knowledge. Let us follow the second line of the mantra. Sarve santu niramaya. You are saying in your mind. Sarve santu niramaya. Sarve santu niramaya. It means let everyone be in the state of well-being. Now, who is seeking well-being amongst all the living species? You are analyzing. You are in the lane number two. You are not running after a thought pertaining to the lane number one. Unwanted, unwelcome thoughts. Sarve santu niramaya. Every living species is seeking well-being, from the mosquito, from an ant. Even the COVID wanted to multiply and increase its population the moment we say we are infected. COVID wants to multiply. That is how they want their own well-being. Oh. So what I am saying that let everyone be in the state of the well-being. So I don't go in a negative way. If that is so, it means we have a state of the well-being all the time. What is that? That is our real self. Where is that real self? Is pure consciousness. Consciousness cannot be infected. Consciousness does not have a stress, anxiety, duality, conflict. Mind is superimposed. Which one? For the sake of understanding, lane 1. Did this understanding goes deeper? You will never be worried, concerned, react to any thought moving in the lane number 1. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Let everyone be blessed or blessed. Let the blessing be upon everyone, every living species on this earth. So the blessing is always available. Grace is always available from the existence. No, I don't see that because of lane 1. Because you claim that you are the mind which works through the lane number 1. Be very clear. So if I move into the lane number 2, then I separate myself from the lane 1, which brings unwanted, unwelcome, and strange thoughts. Yes, just a separation in your mind. How? Through awareness. How you separate me from you? In your awareness. You don't do anything. Come on, we are already separate. Does your mind say that you are already separate from all the thoughts that are entering into your mind? You have taken a very big step. Ma kaschid dukha bhag bhave. Ma kaschid dukha bhag bhave. Ma kaschid dukha bhag bhave. Let none suffer from misery in the world. What is the cause of the misery? Because my mind says world is the source of happiness. Master says world is the source of suffering. So I struggle between the two. That is why I have unwanted, unwelcome thoughts. And what is the way? Lane number 1. No, you don't belong to me. Anytime the mind says I am in stress, duality, anxiety, conflict, remember and recall. It is the mind that is saying, I am not saying. Will that work? Try this. In awareness. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So that Om is the real self, present deep inside the cave of our heart. And Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. 3 times we do it to get rid of the physical, mental, and other natural suffering. So what should be, as I sing, you move the mind into the cave of your heart. Simple. We are doing it in a very passive way. And if these 3 stages of passivity helps you to go deeper, it will bring a very speedier change in your life. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. You repeat couple of times, moving the mind deep inside the cave of your heart, and stay there after saying it. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. I'm doing it little with a sound so that your mind picks the journey correctly. Otherwise, you're doing mentally, emotionally. Why? For emotional freedom. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Doing nothing, you have done the stage number 2. So, why I am using the word stage 1 and 2 so that you can pick up any stage as an independent practice, which is again a non-practice. You're not doing anything. You're using the knowledge, understanding. Let us move to the stage 3. Just check you are in a state of sensation, comfort, and steadiness. You are aware. You are also aware of the lane number 1, which, if unwanted, unwelcome thoughts are there, let it be there. You are separate. You are lane number 2. You know it. What do you mean by lane? Knowing it means you are lane number 2. You observe. You separate. That is discernment. Now, in that state of sensation, comfort, and steadiness in the body, and the state of passivity and discernment, you are looking at the breath. Again, this stage is the state of non practice. So, you are looking at the breath. When I say you, means lane 2, means the mind, and the lane number 2 is nothing but the intellect. What it means, you are looking with your awareness and attention. No, but my attention is on the lane number 1. So when I use the instruction, give you the guidance, you bring the mind. Do you remember why I said that our mind remains in lane number 2? Because our mind, because of the impurity, believes what is the source of happiness. What Master says, what is the source of suffering? So you remember this phrase and then bring your mind back to the breath. Just you are looking at the breath, you want to know the breath. So when you know the breath, you experience the breath is moving inside the body through the nose, and the breath is coming out from the nose to the world outside. Breath goes inside the body, and the breath returns to the world outside. That is, because of this breath, we are able to communicate to the world, being a living being. So you are just watching, as if you are standing across the road watching the traffic, so you are watching the breath going in and out. You also feel the sensation of the breath inside the nose. Every time the breath goes in and every time the breath returns. And If the lane number 1, my friend, remember, understand this. If lane 1 dictates, means it takes over you. If the lane number 1 dictates, what happens then? Your breath rate will change. So that's a good way to recognize it. Recognize it. If that happens, pay attention again that the breath is going in and out. Breath is going in and out. You feel the sensation. That is how the impure mind takes over and it claims, I am in stress, I am suffering, I have lot of problem, I have lot of problem. Everything is experienced in the mind. Experienced in the mind, and again remember, in the lane number 1. Just for the sake of understanding. So what you do, you separate from the lane number 1. So you are aware, it means, and then bring the mind again to the breath. 3 points. In a way, you are not doing anything. The higher the mindfulness or meditation practices, it is effortless, it is natural. You are shifting your awareness. That is shifting your awareness from what you are not, from what I am not to what I am. Or we normally say moving within deeper and deeper. That is another language we use. Do you want to go deeper? Let your mind in the lane to say yes. Okay. So the first point of the breath is moving in and out. Moving in and out. You simply know it. You are not doing anything. Very good. You feel the sensation. The second point, you feel the sensation. Third point, you do not change the rate and rhythm of the breath. Can we add fourth point? What is the fourth point? Discover the space between the breath goes in and before it comes out. And the breath goes out before it goes in. What it means? Remember, the breath is going in when? Then there is a pause. Do you see that when you take a reverse gear in the car? So it stops, there is a pause for a moment before the car moves backward. And now you want to move the car forward, so you change the gear. But there is a pause before the car moves forward or backward because because of a pause. Because of a pause. Same thing happens in the breath. Is done by the nature. Naturally. So my master used to say when the breath goes in, it is life. When the breath goes out, it is the death. We die and we live from moment to moment. You understood it? Very good. If the breath goes in, you feel the sensation. Sensation gives you an experience, the breath is going in. Now, before it returns, the pause is somewhere deep inside. You're discovering that pause. That pause is for a fraction of a millisecond. You're discovering who is pushing the breath in and who is pushing the breath out. You're not doing anything. So now the breath is out. Before it goes in, is there something in the world, in the nature, in the universe outside that pushes the breath in? Yes, that pushes the breath in. That pushes the breath in. When we are aware of the pause between the breath goes in and comes out, or comes out and goes in, we become aware of the force, the power in the nature keeping us alive. It goes a long way in the journey of transformation, in the journey of transformation of the mind and the discovery of peace and happiness, love and wisdom. 3 stages we have done. Every stage is independent, or we can go together. So you need to do the practice every day. Understand all the 3 stages. You can use any stage during the day. Use it during the day. And if the mind says I'm confused, you do it again by listening to it. Within a week, it is going to change. without doing anything. That is the power of non practice in meditation. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste, my friend. Be happy. Continue to remain in that state, and if you feel that now the mind wants to return, then only you bring the mind on the right hand, mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Stay there for a while and bring the hands down and stay there. Once you return from the meditation, just stay there. Awareness. Journey of meditation is just change in the perception about the world, people, situations. Why? Because the knowledge is there inside.